I wouldn't say I've gotten to a point where I say I don't believe it, but it has just been like, wow, like I'm not used to it. I'm not used to seeing things like that. But today's clarity. Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you've been watching lately, then you might already know that I've been on a 21-day challenge for distance vision improvement. And if you also saw some of my earlier videos on this subject, you may remember me telling you guys that I really wasn't expecting or hoping for any change in my vision during these 21 days. I really embarked on it to establish a really good habit of just being really consistent a lot of the day with the exercises that need to really take place to make those changes in the clarity of vision, because I was having trouble getting that going. It has helped me to establish a routine with those exercises very quickly, and I've noticed differences within the first few days in terms of just how much I notice the actual exercises taking place has gone up exponentially, much quicker than I'd even dreamed of. I believed that the 21 days would help me reestablish that. I had no idea how much of a difference it would make, how quickly. So we were given this challenge for bedtime last night, and it's an exercise, a new exercise. And the teacher had mentioned that something about waking up with clearer vision the next morning. I don't know why. I didn't really think anything of it. I did not go to that hopeful state of like, oh, gee, I hope that means I'll wake up with clearer vision tomorrow. I really just didn't go there. So I did my best as I was lying in bed to do the exercise, because this exercise was to take place while we were actually in bed, imagining something. And I thought, okay, I'm not entirely sure I'm doing it right, but it seemed pleasant enough. I must have fallen asleep quick because I don't remember too much more after that. And I woke up today and I wasn't thinking too much of anything, and I just got up, I went to use the restroom, and then I was walking to another part of the house. And and it was fairly dim out. My vision is also much worse. The dimmer, the darker it is, the less clear, the more blurry it is. So it was pretty early and not extremely bright, and I did not turn on any lights yet. And still, as I was noticing out some of the windows, and I just was noticing in passing that things were just clearer, and I was like, whoa, and again, I'm going to be really careful to not do that whole like, oh my gosh, I don't believe it. A lot of times people do that when they work on something like this, or they're trying to manifest something and then they do. It's like, okay, on one hand, you shouldn't really be surprised because it's what you were aiming to do. But a lot of people, and I have done this in the past, have the tendency when they get it to just be like, oh my gosh, I don't believe it. The unfortunate part about that is that oftentimes people who do that, whatever it is that they've gained can go away pretty quick, whether it be money, or I have heard in cases like the good vision. So I've been really careful not to say that during this when I have noticed different things, and I'm really telling you that for a reason, in case you're hearing me. If you get that job promotion you wanted, if you get that raise you wanted, if you get that new car you wanted, like whatever it is, just be like, yeah, I worked for this in whatever way that you did, whether it was with your mind and your emotions to get in alignment with it so that it would show up, or whether you really worked in a more conventional type of way that people think of and you got it, then acknowledge what you did and just be like, yeah, I aimed for this and I worked for this and I got it. Or even if it was a bit of a surprise, even if it was a little better than what you'd gone for, just trust that in some way you did put out an effort in some kind of a way that aligned you for it, and just accept it with gratitude, because then you'll have a much better chance of keeping it around than if you go to the, oh my God, I can't believe it. All right. So anyway, I woke up. My vision was even better than I've experienced it before, and this time it wasn't even really going in and out quite so much. It was kind of staying a little bit more consistent. There were certain moments where it would still be more clear, but even the ones where it was a little bit less clear was still pretty clear compared to my vision before. And I wasn't super expectant about what would happen. I mean, I really didn't know, and if you've watched my other videos, you'll have heard me mention that it's kind of gone in and out and like stayed in for really short glimmers and not really that much of the day. And so I wasn't really, you know, thinking or wondering how this was really going to be. I was just really in the moment, enjoying what I was experiencing when I was experiencing it. And I wasn't allowing myself to have hopes or doubts. I wasn't thinking, oh, I hope it lasts, or like doubting that it would, anything like that. I just was really trying to stay out of thoughts and just appreciative, and just staying within, using my eyes in a relaxed way to keep them as relaxed as possible, to help maintain the clarity as best as I could, and just enjoying it and being grateful. And it lasted for hours. It lasted until I actually had to teach a class where I had to read. And if you heard me talk about this on a previous video, I'm still having a lot of difficulties with whatever it is I'm doing with my eyes, causing strain and then whacking out even my distance vision. So I do believe that in time that will come under control. I do think it'll probably take another course that's designed to target more specifically close-up vision, even though this one does touch on certain things that people are doing typically with reading and their computer. Like, to a point, it's kind of touching on it because computer usage incorrectly or device usage incorrectly and for long hours out of the day, which is a lot of people's life anymore, is tending to cause some vision problems, and as well as distance vision. And because that is understood, the teacher is going over that. In my case, and in one of the other participants, she also noticed that when she was doing certain close-up work, it's kind of throwing back off her distance vision, which does happen to some people. And because of the fact that I have also noticed some decline in my close-up vision, I wasn't even really going into this course hoping it was going to correct all that too. But it might help some. I mean, it could. I don't really know. So another thing I am noticing is that some of the clearnesses that I'm having are at different distances, and then there could even be some things at distances in between that aren't as clear, so that's still happening. But today's clarity really actually did last for a few hours. Now it's still clearer than it was like a few days ago at the more baseline points. I think that my worst points today are still a little bit clearer, so I'm happy about that. And it's really cool that it lasted for a few hours, because I have not had that. And it was so fun when it was in the height of the clearness today. It was to a level I haven't experienced before, and I haven't seen that clearly in a long time. So it was just extremely enjoyable to just kind of just look at different things, and including my significant other, and just feel like, wow, like this is so cool. You know, and another thing that was interesting is my vision. Like, I just haven't seen anything that super clearly for quite some time. And so to have this jump in clearness, like so kind of quick like that, I wouldn't say I've gotten to a point where I say I don't believe it, but it has just been like, wow, like I'm not used to it. I'm not used to seeing things like that. I do think that that's good, and I think everyone overall can benefit from that, even if we kind of miss each other, because we do get benefit from those group meetings. It is a nice time to come together, but we also learn from the things that the other people say, and so that it's definitely valuable. But anyway, I will